Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. We've got to talk a lot on the show this evening, looking at Nigerian stories, and it is actually a big weekend and a weekend full of action from boxing to football. The FIFA window is over. The European competition, that is UEFA Champions League, match day one, the league phase for the league phase get concluded yesterday, and also the Women's UEFA Champions League second round qualification. All of these are now some this weekend. The leagues are back, and we have games up and running beginning from today, and then we all through the weekend we'll be looking at those fixtures in Europe. And also we have a fixture on the continent of Africa, that is the CAF Champions League and the CAF Confederations Cup, involving two Nigerian teams. On the show this evening, I've got a usual suspect now. That is Omanile Lasun joining me on Sports Update this evening. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good evening. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's begin from boxing. That is the pound-to-pound sport. At the Wembley Stadium this weekend, it's going to be firepower precisely tomorrow. And one man is talking in support of his brother now. Adesanya teams Joshua to beat Daniel Dubois. Both of them are British fighters, but we know that Anthony Joshua has a Nigerian descent, and his brother is supporting him and by tipping Joshua to actually win this fight.
Yes, I think it's a great one. Like you said, Joshua might want to pretend to be British, but he hasn't really pretended. He has been very proud of his root, and I'm always excited when somebody who, in spite of being born abroad or raised abroad, are proud of their roots, and he's backing his brother, like you said, to come on top against Dubois. And I'm also backing him. I'm rooting for him when you see like a Nigerian, do their thing, being excellent. Putting the country proud, putting the continent proud, if I may. You have to root for them, and then hopefully they come back with the victory, which then also propels us, propels our sport, propels our name in a great light. So of course I'm rooting for him.
Okay, you are rooting for Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua, a three-time world champion. Definitely, if he gets a shot at Daniel Dubois, there's a bet online in this particular fight.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, our sports has developed into that, but it is what it is. You put your money where your mouth is, right? So if you are confident enough to back Anthony Joshua, of course, lately he has had some fights where he's not been up to the old Anthony Joshua that we know, but there's always a need for a comeback, and hopefully this is his time.
Okay, Anthony Joshua, 28 fights in his career. We know that just 3 losses, back-to-back loss to Alexander Usyk. And if he wins this fight, that means he's going to reclaim the IBF world title bet back from Daniel Dubois after Alexander Usyk was asked to vacate that bet, mandatory vacation of that bet. And if Anthony Joshua wins this fight, he's going to get back that bet.
Yes, and he's good enough to do it. That's what I'm excited about, if I may. Of course, it's going to be tough. Let's be frank. Let's be sincere. It's going to be very tough. But I believe that he can do it. I believe he has all it takes, and he's been a champion. Like you said, his statistics are very, very fantastic. And so we're backing him, and we'll be rooting for him and be cheering him on right here from Nigeria.
Okay, cheering him on to win that fight. That fight will be at the Wembley Stadium. It's all British fight. They have been waiting for this. Daniel Dubois, 21 fights in his own career, out of 21 wins in his professional career. That is Daniel Dubois. He also, out of those fights, he has 20 knockouts for Daniel Dubois. Massive record. But Anthony Joshua, out of 28, 25 knockouts for him.
Yes, Anthony Joshua is let's be honest, one of the very best in the game. When it comes to boxing, you cannot name you can't have a long list without mentioning Anthony Joshua. He is, little by little, step by step, cementing himself as a legend of the game. And you need to win bouts like this to put your name there, cement your name as one of the legends of the game. And absolutely, I believe he can do it. Why not? Why can't he do it?
Okay, we believe that Anthony Joshua can do it. That fight will come up tomorrow at the Wembley Stadium. 20 knockouts for Daniel Dubois, 21 fights, 20 knockouts. Also, we know he has lost to Alexander Usyk, and Alexander Usyk will be at the ringside. And someone said Usyk at the ringside is a distraction for Anthony Joshua. But let's see how that fight will go tomorrow right there at the Wembley Stadium. If you look at it, Usyk will be there, and we know that Anthony Joshua is actually fighting this fight to get back at Usyk.
Yes, yeah, and it's a little bit tricky, to be honest. When you have that kind of caliber of a rival who is going to be ringside watching and probably trying to get to you mentally, psychologically, it can have an effect. Let's be honest, especially in sports. All those antics have some sort of effect. But as a champion, as someone who is experienced and has fought so many fights, I expect him to be mentally prepared for it, emotionally prepared to handle all of that. And when he wins, I expect him to do some weird celebration that is targeted at Usyk, and I'm looking forward to that.
Of course, you are looking forward to that for Anthony Joshua. He wants to reclaim that IBF belt title back so that he can have a shot at Usyk again and then Tyson Fury. These are the men he wants to face after beating Robert Helenius, and the last fight was in March was against Francis Ngannou, former UFC fighter. Just second round, Ngannou was knocked out by that heavy blow from Anthony Joshua. All right, let's come back home. We're still looking at the 8th edition of the National Youth Games that just concluded one in Delta State yesterday. It was the closing ceremony. And one man is talking, and he has been fantastic for his federation. No other person than Daniel Igali, who is the president for the Nigerian Wrestling Federation, and is advising every other federation in the country at least to take steps to curb age cheating. Age cheating, we need to bring it to the barest minimum in our youth games.
Yes, and Igali made a very important point, which I love so much. He said, when you cheat in age competitions, you are ruining the essence of age competitions. So here, for example, let's say we are playing an under-17 tournament, and you are bringing in 23-year-old, 25-year-old to come and compete in this. By the time they are expected to be 23, which will be maybe in 6 years' time, they are already 31. So you expect them to perform at a certain level. Here's a wild statistics for you to get an idea of what I'm talking about. When you look at the under-17 and the under-20, the nations that have won most are Nigeria, Ghana, and Brazil. Yeah. In the under-17 and the under-20 in football. Now look at the main team. How well has Nigeria, Ghana, so when you go back over the years, look at 2005 set, the Mikel Obi, Taiwo, as the promise set, and you look at how successful the Agueros, the Angel Di Maria, and Messi have been, and then you come to 2007 when Christian Macaulay did very well. And then you look at the people that competed with them, the Tony Cruz of this world, and then you look at how their careers went on. You begin to understand Igali's point, and you see, let us, like I've said on this show before, age competition is where you are allowed, if I may use that phrase, allowed to lose. You lose there, you get your acts together. You look at where your faults might be, and then you try to fix them. Not try to win up by force, through hook or crook, do or die, whatever, at under-17, under-20 competitions. Then when you get to the main stage, and then you realize the man is already old and is already falling out. It's unfortunate, and I hope that we listen to what Igali is saying, because he's making a very important point.
Yes, he's actually making very important point, advising all the federation president. We saw what happened at the 8th edition of the National Youth Games, Delta State winning it with a total medal of 111 for them, 46 gold medals to their name at the just concluded National Youth Games in that state, and they hosted and they won. So let's see how far they can go. At least for the very first time, reports we're getting from Delta State, at least the age difference this time around, it was actually the rightful age that went to this competition, because the reports coming in, the age cheat this time, despite we still have 1 or 2 cases, but for the very first time we are seeing the rightful age, not for the very first time, at least we are seeing the rightful age going for this particular event.
Yes, to be fair, we are seeing some improvement, which is massive. I mean, Igali himself, being the president of the Wrestling Federation, he made some little changes in his own federation, where they had a competition and he had to, send some of those participants home. If you're not under 17, don't register for under 17 competitions. It's not about winning now. Nobody cares about what happens at the under 17. It's in 5 years' time, 3 years' time.
What can you do?
What can you do in 10 years' time? So if I am the best athlete at 17 years, and when I'm supposed to be 23, I can no longer run with my mates, then you know there's a problem. So let's be honest, let's keep this going, and hopefully we'll improve on it as the other competitions come.
Yes, hopefully we improve on it. The 8th edition is a wrap from Delta State. And moving ahead on the show, this time around we'll go straight to Lagos and we'll look at the continent. Yes, it is another ground for hunting of talent. It is the African University Games, where now the universities that are participating have converged in Lagos. It's going to be a co-host between Lagos State University and UNILAG. They will be hosting the African University Game, the 11th edition. Like I said, another hunting ground for athletes. For what have you?
Yeah, it's brilliant actually. These kind of competitions give me a lot of joy. First of all, if you look at, in my opinions, a country that have hacked, you know, these school competitions is in the United States. I mean, look at the number of athletes that came out from their universities to represent them at the Olympics. It was massive. And so if we are getting this right in Africa, this is the hunting ground, like you said, for talents. And hopefully, you know, here's one thing I always advocate for in competitions like this. People must come out to support these guys. Come out and cheer for your team. Let them know that you are rooting for them. Let them know that you are backing them. And then, you know, it gives them, you know, extra incentive to perform very well. And before you know it, they are representing us in bigger and higher competitions.
Okay, bigger and higher competition. 120 universities in Nigeria will participate alongside 36 others from other African nations. Will convert already. They are on ground. The opening ceremony will happen tomorrow right there at the University of Lagos Stadium, playground they call it, and we'll be seeing actions from 120 universities here in Nigeria and 36 others from other nations of the continent of Africa. All right, moving ahead, we're still staying on the continent, but this time around we'll talk the round leader game. Like I said, it's going to be a busy weekend in football, boxing, and now we're talking football. It is the CAF Champions League. Now, Enugu Rangers will have a date with Sagrada Esperanza of Angola, right there in Angola. It's going to be played at the 11 November Stadium. Now, Fidelis Ilekuchuku says that clash is a cup final.
And it is. It is rightly so. Like I've said several times, when you this is the biggest stage in as far as African club football is concerned. And when you find yourself in a stage like this, you have to perform. Shout out to the boys; they did very well on their own home turf. Unfortunately,
1-0.
Story for another day. Unfortunately, there is no home turf in Nigeria anymore when you are playing CAF Champions League. But they did very well. They won that game 1-0. And I was reading a statement that was made by their captain, where he said they've done some extra training regiments. They are putting in some works, and hopefully it comes out tomorrow over there in Angola. Of course, again, these are going to be very, very tough game. It's going to be a very tough game. You're going to be tested from the first minute till the final whistle. So you have to be alert. I mean, I remember the now infamous tactic that Ateta used for his boys, where he basically brought in a pickpocket to come and test the level of awareness and the level of readiness of our Arsenal players. That is the level of alertness that we need from those guys. It is a cup final.
Pickpocket is not a lucrative business.
No, not necessarily. It is to give you a sense of being alert, a sense of understanding that you cannot waste too much time. You only have a few seconds to make your decisions on the ball, and then keep the ball moving, get your tactics right, start the way you mean to go on, and hopefully we'll come back with a great result.
Okay, we'll come back with a great result. That game is big for this weekend between Enugu Rangers. They lead the first leg 1-0 at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium last weekend, and we're hoping that they get a favorable result in Angola. They also, alongside Enyimba, also will be in action this weekend. They will be playing Filante of Burkina Faso in their own game. The first leg also ended on a goalless affair. So for Enyimba, they will also hope to get a win, the maximum point, so that they can progress in the competition. Enyimba is playing in the CAF Confederations Cup, while Enugu Rangers are battling it out in the CAF Champions League. But let's quickly look at Enugu Rangers. They've had this problem of not scoring, even in the league. Now, the game against Comoros, Zilmadojo of Comoros, it was 1-0 first leg and 1-1 return leg. Both games were played here in Nigeria, the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, because Comoros also don't have stadium, so they have to borrow like they are the home team. And then Nigeria, Enugu Rangers plays to play 2 home games.
Unfortunately.
Now, the second leg was 1-1. The same result, first leg against Sergada Esperanca, 1-0, and now going away, they will be playing Angola. So, how can Enugu Rangers maneuver? We have to get it right.
Yes, we definitely have to get it right. And when you are handed an opportunity at the very top, you cannot mess it up. And Enugu Rangers have to understand that. I said it sometime on the show that we have not had success on the continent as far as club competition is concerned in Nigeria. So we have to, you have to be very careful, of course. You have to, stick to the coach's instructions, stick to the tactics, do the same thing that you've been doing on the training ground. And here's very important: if there's a mistake, if God forbid you concede a goal, remain focused, remain astute to the tactics, and you just see you find yourself scoring. Of course, again, understand that the way you're coming motivated, the way you're coming energized, the way you're coming with all your passion and whatever is the same way the opponents are coming. Both of you are fighting for the same thing, and at the end of the day, there can only be one winner. Thank God they have an advantage from the first leg. Hopefully they are able to, extend that advantage in the second leg. Maybe if they score first, imagine they score first maybe in the first 30 minutes. That gives you some level of composure, some level of confidence going into the rest of the game.
Okay, level of composure. Going into the rest of the game, we know that Fidelis Electrical is a mastercraft of his own business. Let's see how that game will go against Sergada Esperanca of Angola. Sagrada Esperanca of Angola, right there at the 11 November Stadium in Angola. All right, let's go straight to Europe. We'll look at some league games tonight. There are games tonight coming out in the league. We have in La Liga, we have in the Italian Serie A, and then we have games in the French Ligue 1 and the German Bundesliga. All right, the fixtures are on the screen. We'll start with that of La Liga. Deportivo Alaves against Sevilla, that is in the Spanish La Liga. Quickly, Kelechi Iheanacho will be in action tonight,
yes.
And he has not actually hit the ground running in that club.
Well, sometimes transitioning from another country, another weather, another people to a different one can be a little bit challenging. They move from the Premier League, and don't forget he's been in the Championship the last year. He's not really been in the Premier League in the last year, so it might take him a while to adjust. But I'm confident that when he gets into this game, gets into his reading, he will come through. And here's one thing about Kelechi's game that I personally think should be done. I think he plays better when he has a striker ahead of him. And when you play him in that supporting striker role, he tends to do well. He did it. He had a good understanding with Jamie Vardy of Leicester. So hopefully they are able to find a solution to that, and then unlock the potential that we all know that Kelechi Iheanacho has. Okay,
unlock his potential. We know that the coach is also backing him to do well, at least to come good for Sevilla. And then in the German Bundesliga, Augsburg will take on Mainz 05 at home. That is another big game in the German Bundesliga. Augsburg is one team that knows how to just give the big boys, especially Bayern Munich.
Yeah. There's always that team. We used to have Bout in the Premier League. Stoke City.
That used to be the key to some of these.
You just have those teams that will give you a tough time, and that's what makes a good match in this regard, where you have that kind of team when they are playing a team that is somewhat on the same par with them. It gives you a very good game. Hopefully we see some tactical geniuses. At the end of the day, it's just some slight margins that determine the result of games like that.
Okay, for Augsburg, they have not really started the season well against another team that is struggling at the beginning of the season, but let's see how that game goes. And then in the Italian Serie A, we have 2 games: Cagliari against Empoli and Hellas Verona against Torino. That is in the Italian Serie A. And then for French Ligue 1, we have Nice against Saint-Etienne. All these games will be coming up tonight. And then quickly, let's look at some transfer stories on the show. We'll start with Liverpool. Liverpool monitors that is Bournemouth left back Milos Krez. I don't know, Liverpool, they have a lot of Robinson is still there. They have this other guy, this Greece guy is still with them, and now they are looking for another left back.
Yeah, but there seem to be, I don't know if I can use that word, there seems to be a level of distrust between the new coach Slot and Robertson. I mean, he's used Simikas
A lot
since he's coming. So maybe he doesn't really gel with, he doesn't really like Robertson's game, and he's looking at another talent. But then don't forget, this guy is 20 years old. But then in this day and age, 20 years old in football is very matured. so
look at the man.
Yeah, so maybe he doesn't really like Robertson's game. In fact, I've heard some rumors that he may not necessarily like Arnold's game too. So, of course, when a new coach,
but he has no choice. That is why he's still using Arnold.
Well, you can say that. You can say that to an extent. But when a new coach comes in, normally you expect him to kind of insert his own energy, his own tactics. And somebody like Slot, I am thinking, will not want to leave, quote unquote, under the shadows of your own club. You want to kind of exert your own influence,
yes, of course,
and show to the boys that, you know, a new sheriff is in town.
He's in town.
So if you're looking at playing a certain way, maybe Robertson doesn't fit in, and that might sound a little bit controversial to a lot of people out there, but some coaches just prefer some things done a certain way. And don't forget, Pep Guardiola and Arteta are bringing in a new style of play where they're practically playing full center backs all through the back four. You know, so maybe Slot is looking
at that pattern. All right, moving ahead, let's look at another transfer. Manchester United, they are always on the transfer news. Want Bayern Munich midfielder Leon Goretzka. This guy, at least, is not settled in Bayern under Vincent Kompany, and we know that the likes of what's his name, Casemiro and Eriksen might likely go out of that team quickly.
I think if there's something that Manchester United needs right now, it's a holding midfielder to a central midfielder. They've not really had a good run in that department. So maybe they are looking at Goretzka. But well, if I may advise I would have loved them to go for a much younger person who is developing, who can easily adapt, maybe in the shape of somebody that can help Kobe Mainoo in that midfield. But then, let's be honest, Goretzka is also is an outstanding player, and he's very strong, very fast. So let's see what he brings to the team.
Okay, and then the last one, Tottenham, Chelsea, the two London clubs, PSG, all in race to sign Sporting CP striker Victor Gyökeres. I actually put this because of you. You told me on this same sports show that Arsenal was going to buy this guy. Quickly.
Well, I at the end of the day, I trust the maestro Mikel Arteta. If Mikel Arteta says it's good, I say it's good. If Mikel Arteta says he doesn't want him, maybe he's not good enough, and we can leave him for the small boys to take.
Oh, Tottenham is a small boy?
Of course, we just
PSG?
Of course they are. We just
Newcastle?
Oh, come on. There's only one team in England that can chat to Arsenal right now, and that's Manchester City. If your name is not Man City, you're a small boy.
Let's leave it at there. All right, that is where we're going to be leaving it on the show sports update this evening. Let's see how far Arsenal will go with this guy, where we have three giants chasing him. All right, that is it on the show. Lasun, it's a pleasure having you on Sports Update this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Okay, that is it on the program. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. Say thanks for watching.